Hi everyone, welcome to episode 144. It's a little dark in here. My options were either to be completely blown out on one side or to be a little dark on the other, so we're doing a Phantom of the Opera thing. And I suppose I should address the fact that there was no podcast last week. I'm sorry. Life happens. I will get into that more later, but we came here for the knitting. So I am going to jump right into that. There's been a lot of knitting done. A lot of knitting. And I cut my own bangs, as you can see. Aren't they good? Didn't I do a good job? I didn't even use a mirror. I am so, yeah. I was just, they're in my way. I will fix this right now. That's how you do it, Sadie style. So, I do have a finished object. How often do I have? It's been a while, so I am very pleased. These are really loose on my sock blockers because they are substantially bigger than my sock blockers. These are the Jack socks. Trying. There we go. Doo-doo-doo. It's pretty true to color there, actually. That could be beneficial for me. This is a free pattern by Regia Sada. I did it on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I believe it's a 2.25. Whether or not that's a US 1 remains to be seen. Out of Another Crafty Girl in the Other Mother colorway. I'm sure it's been renamed. I'm sure Sarah will correct me because I love her. And so yeah. And it is out of the shiny sock or the twinkle sock. Twinkle or shiny. Something that sparkles, and they're gorgeous. And they kind of pool in the same fashion, but not really. And I'm okay with that. Doesn't bug me. Does it bug you? I don't care. I do care, but I don't care. If it bugs you, oh well. I'm sure you make sure this doesn't happen. I don't care, so it happens. So now I can take them off the sock blockers and do other things with the sock blockers. I don't block my socks very often. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know if it does, and I really don't care. My level of caring right now is like this, and the level of me is like this, so... And you'll find out why soon enough. So that's my only FO, but I have been working on a lot of things you haven't seen, which will come as a shocking surprise when I show you the fact that you haven't seen them, and they're that far along. So... the less is more cardigan. I decided I was just going to start knitting it. I decided I wasn't going to bother spinning for it. I was just going to pull yarns that kind of looked like they should be the right weight. That was my mode. I was just like, whatever. I'm not going to care. I'm not. And I can knit. It's a raglan. I can knit more. I can A-line. I can do anything. This is a very simple pattern, and it's a free pattern by Amy King through Knitty. So on 3.75 and 3.5 millimeters, I got my start. I decided to do the contrasting black because that's how I roll. That, and I was at Joann's because I needed to get like the pink for the smooch, which I will show you in a minute, for the needlepoint, the Once Upon a Time stitch sampler, blah blah blah, from Frosted Pumpkin. And so I have this 40 cent thing of floss. I'm like, okay. So the hubby goes, well, we may as well go buy you some yarn because that's going to look ridiculous on a credit card statement. Well, technically check card, debit card, whatever. However you use it, it's a card that does stuff and lets you utilize money at sales points. So I got 2 more skeins of black because it was on sale for the blanket, which I need to get back into. I miss doing it. I just, honestly, apparently I have startitis. I need to knit with hand spun, and my brain cells are done. But again, so I cast on the less is more. If you can't tell, I'm about to start the last color repeat. Here's the arm, where you take it off and put it on the holder. There's no way this is going to show up properly because it's very squinched on the needles, and there's no way that this is an accurate description of my size. It's just I can't stretch it out. And it rolls right now until I put the I-cord on. It rolls quite substantially on the interior. So I am utilizing this top one here is Zombie Flannel, which I spun. It is a merino silk blend from No Makers. The black is the new Patton's Classic Wool DK Superwash. So the color change happens here, and it changes to Mixed Tape, which is Nest, and I believe it's a Fin. Yeah, I didn't give a crap that they were all the same kinds of yarn. I was like, whatever, this is going to look rustic and handmade no matter what I do. I'd rather go with the colors than with sticking to one. So then we go down here, and this is this. This is also Nest. I forget what this one is called. I'm sure I'll put it on my project page eventually, and then it's going to go into, I've started, you can see there's one row. If you look really hard, and this row right here, this orange row right there, that is Highland Handmaids As You Wish on Shetland, which probably will be the last color change. I don't know. I say probably. It has to measure a certain length, and I do know that because I am using a thinner yarn, this is probably, at times it's sock, at times it's sport, at times it's worsted, at times it's DK. But I am getting somewhat gauge, although it is a little bit threadbare in some spots, and I really don't give a crap. I think it's coming up beautifully. So you can see through parts of it. The softness isn't going to be a problem. The fin, I believe it's fin. I don't know if it's fin or not. But this one is a little scratchier than this one. And this one. And this one has more drape than this one. This one's more substantial. But I don't know if I'm going to have to add another skein after the Highland Handmaids. If I do, I have a skein on standby. If I don't, whatever. I have a significant amount left over, so I'm going to have to think of something else to do with these. Which is not really a problem. Let's face it, in my life, finding knitting patterns, not a problem. Maybe I'll make a magic cake ruffle shawl. Who knows? Because I did get that pattern from Dawn Knit & Wolf, and she is a rock star, and I love her. And, yeah. So, there you have it. I am knitting the... What am I knitting? I'm knitting the 42-inch bust, which is smaller than my bust. I'm knitting for this distance, not this distance, to fit my shoulders, and then I'm doing all the shaping and the bibbles in it. So basically, a little bit of room for the boobage, back down, no waist shaping, and then expanding out to give it that A-line shape. I don't know if it's going to make me look like a giant upside down tulip, but I'm sure it'll do something. I'll wear it either way. Either way, after all this work. And I have to say, this is like potato chip crack knitting. I'm going to have to make like 8 more. And I never repeat patterns very often. I never very often. Oh my god. I usually don't repeat many patterns unless they really intrigue me or I'm doing them for a group such as my nieces and nephews. But this pattern is just the bomb diggity. Because it's an easy pattern. It's a very easy pattern, but the color changes are just... I stayed up really late watching American Horror Story. I finished season 1 while doing one of the color changes because I was like, I must finish changing colors. And when I get closer to the end, I will of course put it on waste yarn or cotton or something and try it on and make sure it doesn't look like hell. But even if it does, I don't really care. And I'm going to do the long sleeve version. So there you have it. What else have I knit on? Segueing into, well, no. Well, it's a segue, but I'm bringing it back to knitting anyway. You may recall I was spinning this. See, isn't it gorgeous? This is Gail's art in the Sherlock colorway on her 8515 BFL nylon blend that has me positively a titter. And so I spun that, I finished spinning it, I finished plying it, and then I took it and I divided it into two balls. This is the leftover, I will explain. So I divided it into two balls of equal grammage, and I wussed out and did a short row heel because I didn't want to do an afterthought heel, a true afterthought heel. And so I divided it for two socks. So, because my initial thought was that I would just keep knitting. Just keep knitting, just keep knitting. Which could be my mantra of life, but so I started a toe-up sock, and it's my first toe-up sock in a good long while, and it's for me, and I've never had them fit, but this one fits, so I'm pretty pumped. So I started a toe-up sock. I did an afterthought heel. There is some hole on one side. There's holes, whatever. Or no, this is a short row heel. I did the short row heel from the Nutkin pattern. I just reversed it. But it fits fine. It's just got some holage on one side. It's this side. This side has holes. You can see there's a little bit of holing there. And then I knit and knit and knit and knit. And I love the way it turned into a gradient. And I knit and knit and knit. And I kept trying it on thinking, well, when do I stop? And I was getting to that point in my calf where it was like, well, I'm either going to have to increase or put the ribbing in. And so I discussed it with a friend. And she's like, well, do you wear knee highs a lot? I'm like, well, I wear socks all the time. But I don't necessarily know that I wear knee highs a lot. I wear knee highs, but do I do it a lot? I really don't want to do the calf increases. So I did the ribbing. I did the ribbing with the Judy's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I did the Jenny's Magic Cast On, and I maybe, is it Judy's Magic Cast On and Jenny's Surprise? Either way, Jenny and Judy were up in my grill while I was making this, and I have enough left over that I can make a pair of socks for my mom. So that's what's going to happen with the leftover. This is the leftover from this one. So I started out with this, and I got over 500 yards, so really I should have known better if I'm not making socks for my husband. Of course I'm going to have leftovers. So I got the first sock done, and it's taller than I'm used to, but it fits nicely. And I have this much left, and I know this much will make enough for my mom because she has 6.5 feet. And even if they have to be like little footies, ankly socks, whatever, she's fine with that. She wears those. She likes them. Although I do know that when I fold this sock, the short row heel does stand out a little bit. They're comfy and squishy, and yay for hand-spun hand-knit socks. It's my first true 3-ply hand-spun hand-knit sock, and I think I may have developed an addiction. Possibly, and that's in my seashore sharing bag. I cast on 2 things for my husband, because apparently he's the worst enabler in the world. Well, not apparently, he is one of the worst. And so we went to Knitter's Palette to drop off some yarn for them. So if you're in Minnesota and you're looking for yarn, Knitter's Palette's been restocked. And he wants a new winter scarf, because the first scarf I knit him is an Angora Cashmere blend. It is floofy. He specified he wanted big and floofy and light and airy, and so he got Cashmere Angora, and it cost a lot. He does love it. It is very warm, except that it does leave little puffs on him. So a more utilitarian scarf is what he requested, and I said, okay, fine. And I put a bunch of, like, I don't want to say restrictions, but I wheedled down. I advanced searched on Ravelry to get the unisex ones, the, you know, just socks, or scarves that would work for him, possibly. And the one he really liked is called No Mr. Bond, I Expect You to Die. It's by Barbara Benson. It is a mosaic colorwork scarf, and it looks like this. You just do 2 colors, and it's actually, I was a little frightened because I've never done the whole mosaic colorwork. I've done a lot of different colorworks, but I was like, do I have to carry? What the frig is going on here? And she explains it very well. It was $5, I believe. It is an amazing pattern. I really have to tell you, if you're looking to try out something new, like double color mosaic knitting, this is the one to go for. Because the instructions are great. She's got a link to her WordPress, which has the cast on. She does the cast on, like a tutorial on the cast on, which is a twisted German cast on. So if you've never done it, you do that, which gives you a stretch. I did it. I followed her on her tutorial, and that was fun. She's got the setup rows. It's both written and charted, but I want to see if I can blow this up so you can not see the pattern. So she does these little sidebars. I've never seen this before, but I love this woman. I really do. Because she gives you space. I am always writing all over patterns when I print them out. I really am. I'm one of those people. But she gives you space to write your notes, write your notations, write anything that's going to help you. What? No. And then she's got a column in the sidebar that tells you that you can check off the row you're on, so you can continue to know which row you're on, be it the charted or the non-charted. There's instructions on how to read the chart properly. The chart is beautiful. It's a full page chart. I really can't say enough about this particular pattern as far as mosaic knitting. But so we went to Knitter's Palette, and I haven't gotten very far. And the hubby picked out some colors. This is a heathery burnt orange and, of course, a light charcoal gray. They're numbered. They are Barocco vintage. And here's the start. I've got 9 rows into the chart. This is as far as you can get when you're watching The Walking Dead. This does require a little more brain power for me, so it, of course, got thrown by the wayside. But I love it, and I can't wait to go back to it. See the little steps? And never once do I have to carry a color. I just have to twist at the side, because you're always using texture and slipping and everything to get this gorgeous pattern, like these little chain links on the side. Totally worth it. He may not get it till, oh, who knows. He'll get it at some point, and he's fine with that. At this point, he's fine with anything. The other thing I started for him is a pair of socks, because of course he blew out all of his socks. Here's the first sock. The purple is not showing up as purpley, it's bluing out. That is a hazard. It's a bright emerald green, a very rich purple and a yellow. And this is, there it is in the ball. This is the Puppy Love colorway on the Knitter's Nightmare Batty sock base. He actually did buy this skein because $5 of each skein goes to a dog rescue organization. For the Puppy Love, for the Perfect, it goes to a cat organization. Rescue organizations or fix organizations. Something to do with the health and well-being, welfare of animals. And there, of course, will be some of this up in the shop. I'm probably going to shoot for a weekend update, so keep an eye on that. But that's the first sock. I'm using US 1, zeros. I'm doing it on zeros over 70 stitches. to get the fabric he likes. Now let's see what else. Well, spinning. Well, we alluded to spinning, so I'll go right into my spinning. I was practicing long draw because after I finished Gail's art, I really wanted to just keep going. So I pulled out the October 2013 Spunky Club, which is 4 ounces of Cheviot in the Geisha colorway, and I spun it up. It is a thick and thin-ish 2-ply, but it was long drawn. It has been washed and thwacked. Very pretty colors. There's some reds, some blacks, some blues, some purples, some greens. No greens. Scratch heads. Some reds, some blacks, some blues, purples, grays. A little bit of pink. And so I just wanted to practice my long draw because it's been a while. It worked out pretty well. I got over 200 yards. I put it up on Instagram. I can't remember. I don't like Cheviot. I can tell you right now. It was great to long draw. It was great to practice on. The colors are fabulous, but I hate how scratchy this is. Like, it's nothing against Spunky. She's awesome. But, yeah, no. I am not a fan of the Cheviot. It's very much a Lopi. Although, if I want to do felted slippers or something, here we go. So, I accomplished that, and I felt like a rock star for actually getting stuff done. Woo! No snuggles happen now. Shush. Then I worked on the Once Upon a Time sampler. See the smooch, and the cupcake. That's why I had to go to Joann's. That's why I ended up getting the black. That's why I ended up doing Less is More cardigan. I needed that one color. Of all the DMC floss I have, do you think I had that color? No. Every other color. Colors in front of it, colors behind it, not that color. So January is officially all the way done. February is pretty close to done. The one side of the border is done. So, continuing onward, I wanted to be done February and the border so I could just sit and wait for March. It's not going to happen. I will probably get February done in time for February to be done, and I will probably start on the border up here. But March, I'll probably still be working on the border. But I do have 2/3 of it done. See, it's 2/3, that's how far done it is. So, I'm not too worried. I'm still very much enjoying it. It's still very pleasant. Again, American Horror Story. Watched a lot of it. I'm into season 2. Halfway done season 2, I think. Let's see. What else? I've talked about the yarn going to Knitter's palette. I said that there will probably be an update this weekend. I'm going to be dyeing tonight and tomorrow to finish everything up. There is some natural dyed solid color. There is naturally dyed in sock weight. There is some shaded solids in sock weight. There's some shaded solids in DK. And I'm getting the stripes done today and tomorrow. They're warped and ready to go. I just have to dye them, dry them, and rescan them, which is a bit of an undertaking, which is why I would not think it's going to be on Friday. It's either going to be Saturday or Sunday. I might do it Sunday night, just because of the post office. I don't know. But watch the Knitter's Nightmare Ravelry board, because I always post it there, and stay in tune with that. So the reason I am so screwed up is I waffled on whether or not I should tell you this, but you're going to find out anyway. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, which is why it's at the end. Right before Valentine's Day, we found out when the hubby is being sent away for a year. Best crappy Valentine ever. Thank you, U.S. Navy. I really needed that for Valentine's Day. Subsequently, I was not a happy camper and spent a lot of time sitting on the couch after I got the wholesale order done. That hit, I had to get the wholesale order out and done, and then afterwards I allowed myself to fall apart. I also was plagued with a few migraines that were really, really bad. So, yeah, I really just fell apart for a week and a half and went offline and decided that I needed to take care of myself more than anything else. It's still hard. It's probably going to be hard right until the get-go, because despite the fact that we have a date when he's leaving, which is when he has to be there, which is at the end of June, he could have to leave up to 2 weeks before that for travel purposes and whatnot. So we're still waiting on the travel arrangements. Subsequently, there is a crap ton of stuff that has to be done around the house before that, like making sure I'm on the car title, because I don't think I'm on the car title. We have to get a landline because he can't call cell phone. Just stuff like that, stuff I wouldn't have thought of that needs to get done before June. I'm pretty sure after SSK I'm just going to fall apart. That's my plan anyway. I'm going to have like a month where I just don't. I'm just going to sit there and drink and sit and drink. That's what I'm going to do. I shouldn't say that. I probably am not. I'm probably just going to run myself into the ground working, because that's usually what I do. But yeah, so that is where I was. That is why I have not been talkative. I did want to say thank you to Knit and Wolf for the pattern, the Magic Ruffle Cake Shawl. I do intend to make one. I just need to get out my scale and measure off stuff. I wanted to say thank you to Hales Knits, who sent me the Mystery Knit Along by Geonitrix, which has started. I don't know if I'll jump in or not. It depends. Right now, I'm just focused on getting snuggles done, and I hope everybody's still turning in those snuggles. I see the numbers rising. I know we won't be as good as last year, but let's just push it out, kids. My goal is to finish this bloody snuggle I've got on the needles before the end of snuggle time. That is my goal. I've reduced my goal to that. And if I do that, then more power to me, because I am dyeing colorways to donate to animals at the same time. And past snuggles and SSK, I'm really trying to just... Those are the two things I can think about without being sad, so that's what I try to focus on. Didn't want to be a downer. And I don't want to be a downer, and I will try not to be a downer. But just for the record, sometimes I'm going to need to go into my little hidey hole. And so I hope everyone's understanding about that as I go through this over the next year and a bit. Not looking forward to it. But, having said all of that, you've seen my knitting, you've seen everything. I've said everything I have to say. And I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope I see you next week, which I will be. Because Blip is being a tool, you can find it on YouTube, you can find it on the blog, you can watch it directly on Blip, you can do the Feedly thing, you can download from iTunes, or from YouTube if you really want. I'm not getting into it. If Podcast Garden or Pod Garden or whatever the heck starts working better, I may do that because it's $30 a year. Not paying $300 a year. Just not happening. I hope everyone is well, and I'll see you next week.